the CEO of JP Morgan, he actually made a statement that he could see gold as high as 10,000. I mean, that's unheard of for the CEO of arguably, if not the largest bank in the top 2 or 3, to make a prediction.
Like I'm your best friend. Balances in your bank stack. Sil, it's great to sit down with you again and to talk more about gold today. So I'm excited. We've had so much going on with gold recently. We continue to have all these new all-time highs priced in the dollar, and we continue to see it going up. Recently, we saw what a lot of people are calling a pullback. To me, it looks like it's kind of more of a dip than a pullback. But I understand why a lot of people feel like it's a pullback because it was sharp. We had some really quick ups and then some sharp downs. But when I look at the charts, when I look at the information, to me, it still looks like we're really early in the bull run for gold right now, and that now is still a good time to be looking to acquire gold. I know people are bringing gold in. We talked a little bit earlier offline that some people are bringing in, some fractional gold and other kinds of gold pieces, as well as silver that's coming in. And I even had a friend recently, just yesterday, text me and say, "Hey, are you selling all of your gold because we're at the top of the market?" And so what I'd love to do is talk to you a little about, where you think gold's going as far as this bull run is. Are we at the top of the market? Do we have more run for this? And then I'd love to take a look at the coins that you have to try to better understand for someone that's looking to invest in gold. I look at primarily gold as a wealth insurance, and then my secondary is to look at it as an investment. And so sometimes when I'm buying gold, it's just get something less expensive. It's there in case I have an emergency where I might need to sell it. Other times I'm looking at coins that might be more rare that I hope will have a much higher value as we see gold go up, in my opinion. But I'd love to get your take on it and some of your thoughts around gold.
So let's start with gold in general.
Okay.
All right. So just yesterday on CNBC, they had the Bank of America analyst who was a basically commodities analyst. So he's an expert in a broad range of things. And, it was pointed out that Bank of America just raised their estimate for the year for gold to 5,000. Okay. And he was asked questions about this latest correction. And he goes, yes, it's a minor correction. It's expected. Every time something goes up 10%, it comes back 1 or 2%. And the reality is it's a very small correction, and we'll probably see quite a few more. I think that it's possible that gold could dip under 4,000 before it hits 5,000. But the reality is that it appears that we're going to have a continued steady growth. And this fellow, Bank of America, is a very conservative institution. Funny thing is, speaking of conservative institutions, Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, he actually made a statement that he could see gold as high as 10,000. I mean, that's unheard of for the CEO of arguably, if not the largest bank in the top 2 or 3, to make a prediction or, even a statement. I don't know if it was an actual prediction, but I mean, he said it could go to 10,000. It is a remarkable thing. And there's a lot of, conservative and smart money that are still in favor, bullish on gold. Okay. So the key issue is that central banks are buying gold. And I mean, that is a force to be reckoned with. Not to mention, it's well known that China is buying. Mm-hmm. And most importantly, China is buying up mines. If they can get their hand on a gold mine, they will buy it. Okay. And all of that gold that from those Chinese holdings are unknown and unreported. They are just socking it away. So what does that tell you? Okay, when the second largest economy in the world that wants to dump their dollars okay, is buying all this gold, it means the dollar's down and gold is up. So it looks pretty good. Now to the question at hand, what to buy, okay? Yes. So, inflation is by no means gone, okay? And so, having any great tangible asset, okay, in any form is good. But there are quite a few caveats. And I'm going to explain the differential on different gold items. Okay. So you start with the basic gold eagle. That's America's modern bullion coin. And, in general, that's not a bad play, except right now the premium on a gold eagle is almost 4%. And this is a coin with an unlimited production, produced from 1986 and is still being produced. There is no real collector value, nor could there likely be any collector value in the long term. So to pay a 4% premium, I think is not smart. You could buy similar 1 ounce gold coins from us, like a Cougaran or a Maple Leaf, at a much lower premium. So, if you wanted just straight gold, I would go that direction. However, the better buy is United States $20 gold pieces that are certified, 63 to 65. For example, right now, a Mint State 65, which means a gem, high quality $20 St. Gaudens, 100-year-old, okay, in certified and in gem condition, we sell at $4,200. Well, melt is just about $4,000.
It's about the same price as what an eagle's going for right now.
It's pretty...
Maybe even a little below it.
For 65, it's a tiny bit more.
Okay.
But if you bought a 64, we now sell at $4,100, okay, which is below what a gold eagle is going to cost you, and basically $100 over gold. And I don't have one handy, but it looks just like this one, okay. A 63, we sell at $4,050, basically $50, $60 over gold, or 2% over gold. These are at historic lows. Now, these aren't rare coins, but understand, historically speaking, the premium on one of these, even in MS60, 3 points lower than I'm talking about, has reached a peak of 100%. So imagine that at one point, like 1985, for example, gold was $300-$400, and actually an MS60 Saint was $1,000. That's more than it's like almost a triple premium. So the possibility exists that the premiums could increase on these coins. Now, people are pushing various different stuff on U.S. gold, and a lot of these TV companies, you're going to call in to buy gold, and they're going to give you a bait and switch, and they're not going to put you into rare coins, which I'm going to talk about in just one moment. They're going to try and sell you some foreign gold coin or some modern gold coin certified that are just basically nonsense. And if they try and sell you a rare coin, they're going to try and sell you the worst rare coin. Now, I happen to have here is a 1924 St. Gaudens in Mint State 67.
That looks nice.
Okay. Yeah, it's a very nice looking coin. Okay. Much nicer than these. Okay. However, the, say, telemarketer retail on this coin is $12,000, $13,000. Now, of course, you could buy it from us at $11,000, okay? But I don't recommend it, and let me explain why, okay? The difference between this Mint State 67 and this Mint State 65 is just a subjective grading difference. the average coin dealer, if I covered up these grades and showed them these coins, maybe they would say the 7 is a little bit nicer, okay? But if you broke them out of the holders and handed them in the flips, they'd tell you there was a 10% difference, okay, in value. So this coin here is valued strictly because of its plastic, okay? The population of this coin is 400 and change. One grade down, the population is 16,000 coins. 2 grades down in 65, the population is 95,000 coins. So don't you think that with that many coins, more and more of these are going to get made? And what will happen is that premium on the 67 will keep coming down. And it has. It's already come down quite a bit. But as gold goes up and as more common 20s come into the market, this spread will deteriorate. At once upon a time, the difference between a 66 and a 65 was 100%. The difference between a 64 and a 65 was 100%. At that point in time, we strongly told people, don't buy those coins, okay? Just buy the lower grade coins, because none of these St. Gaudens common dates are worth paying a big premium for. So now that we've established what coins we recommend in the gold or bullion related area, and we've briefly covered some of the mistakes that people make buying, quote, rare coins, I'm going to illustrate what actual rare coins are and the type of rare coins that we would recommend. So as I had pointed out earlier, we had a 1924 Saint in mint state 67. This coin is strictly a condition scarcity coin. And the price is 100% only because it's graded a 7. And the reality is a infinitesimal small difference makes it a 6, which makes it go from a $13,000 retail coin to a $5,000 retail coin. So you don't really want to be in that type of position. The population on this particular coin is 424. So what I'm going to show is like what we would recommend. So 424 population, retail value 13,000. Let's just say wholesale value, or what we would charge, 11,000. So now I have a 1915 Saint, which is a much, much scarcer coin. And this is a PCGS 65 plus CAC endorsed. Now, CAC ensures that it's at the absolute peak of the grade. Now, you don't necessarily always have to buy CAC coins. I strongly recommend sticking to PCGS coins, and obviously buying PCGS CAC is really going to give you the best quality. Okay. But going through us, we always select the best of the best anyhow. Okay. So this coin has a population of only 11 and none finer. So as a comparison, that the 1924, 424, and there's probably more than 50 finer, okay? So population 11, our price, 39,500. So let's compare our price to our price. This coin is not even 4 times the price of this coin. And this coin is literally 40 times rarer. So what sounds like a better play? 4 times the money to get something 40 times as rare. Those are the type of comparisons that you always want. And a coin with a population of under 100, that's a rare coin. A population of under 50 is pretty rare. And 11 coins, that's scarce, okay?
That is. So what can be expected from like an appreciation for something that's rare versus a more common date?
Well, my feeling is, despite gold continuing to go up, this coin is in jeopardy of going down, okay? I personally think that if let's say gold went to 10,000 an ounce, my bet is this coin would be 12,000. So you basically would lose all the rarity appreciation because the premium would just keep going down, down, down. This coin, on the other hand, if gold went to 10,000, okay, the market on rare U.S. coins would probably explode. This coin certainly, whether gold goes to 10,000 or not, I think is going to appreciate 10 to 20% a year, for a prolonged period of time. Now, buying rare coins versus bullion coins really depends on your financial status, okay, and your liquidity. Okay. If you're highly, highly liquid and you have a substantial net worth, buying some rare coins is a very, very smart play. If your, say, asset protection or your bullion position, is small, okay, and you need the liquidity, then I would say you stay with the, generic Saints 63, 64, maybe even 65, because those are like cash and the spread is very tight. But if you're a millionaire plus, I would recommend you split your bullion and rare coin position. Okay. And again, depending the stature of your net worth, you might even be able to move into something like a Mona Lisa of rare coins, or at the very least, a great master, So what I have in my hand here is a 1915 Saint, same date as this one, but this is a proof, okay? Very low mintage, under 100 coins struck. This coin is a population 10. Okay, so this is literally the finest known of a very rare coin, which has, probably, I would say maybe 30 known in all grades. So a very, very tough coin. Now, this coin is in the $350,000 price range. And I wouldn't recommend, if someone has for their rare coin bullion portfolio $350,000 to spend, I would not recommend putting it all in all the eggs in one basket. Okay. However, if you have a substantial portfolio, this is a remarkable coin. It's a true treasure that has incredible potential. We first sold this coin to a client back in the 90s, and it was like $30,000. So it's up tenfold from that time period, and now there's huge demand amongst the $100 million plus club and the billionaires that are coming into the market. They want to buy this type of stuff. So these very high-end coins are actually appreciating faster than almost anything in the coin market.